Hey legends, this is Magnus. How you doing? In this video, I'm reacting to a interesting question that I just found on YouTube some time ago. Could a Land Before Time remake work? This is coming from the YouTuber Dino Guy. Let's check this out.
The Land Before Time, a beautifully animated movie that has captured all of our hearts growing up
Yep,
and was easily one of the best movies that could have rivaled Disney itself.
yeah,
Today it's regarded
that's
as an
fair.
obvious classic by many, including myself, who grew up loving the movie and its 500 straight to video.
Yep, yep. Let's see which one. First of all, that one's called the Great Long Neck Migration. I guess they shortened it, but that's my favorite sequel.
Sequels.
It's a movie.
But there's been a lot of talk recently about the live action Little Mermaid, Peter Pan, and Lilo and Stitch, and it got me thinking, would a live action or a remake essentially work for Land Before Time? So that's something I want to talk about. I want to bring in all of the aspects, why it
Super nice helmets. Sorry, I did. I think my favorite is gonna be Captain Rex right there.
probably
Sorry.
won't work
Let's
and
keep going.
why it could work. First off, I
Okay.
want to draw attention to the live action Disney remakes. The things that I think suffer the most from these remakes are the animal characters. Because for the most part, Disney's going for a live action interpretation of this story, which means that there's really nothing that's stylized to be adapted unless it's like a mythical creature or something, or a genie. And so I think that the characters that suffer the most from this are the animals. And that's
True.
mainly because when you see them in a cartoon in the animated form,
You can make
they're
them
going to
any
be
way
a
you
lot more
want.
expressive and give off the emotion that they're feeling simply from their facial expressions along with the voice acting, if they have a voice. And that's something that just doesn't translate to their live action, because even though the animals are still CGI for the most part within these
They're
remakes,
how there's
they
how
are
they
kept
actually
to
are.
be as realistic as possible to fit the kind of style they're going for. They're not stylized in any way. Take this shot from The Lion King, for example. This shot depicts Simba staring at a herd of wildebeests tumbling toward him as he's in utter fear of the situation that he is in.
In
But you can't
comparison.
tell that from his facial expression. Here is the exact same shot from the original.
Right.
See the difference?
You see the
So the
clear
simple truth
difference.
is that these animals aren't able to really emote the same way that humans can, and so they lose a lot of their charm. And this problem would just get exacerbated with dinosaurs, assuming they'd go with as realistic as possible. Because while yes, dinosaurs like T-Rex had lips, their lips did not have any muscles in them, so therefore they couldn't even do something as much as snarl, which is something that they relied heavily on in the Lion King remake. In order to show whenever, say, Simba or Mufasa are angry, they'll snarl. But if we're being completely honest, if a remake of The Land Before Time happened, it would not be as realistic as possible. It would probably be stylized like most dinosaur media is, at least giant dinosaur media, like released to cinemas dinosaur media. So let's assume that they would take the Disney's dinosaur route.
That I think would possibly be the best option because if you go with that way, you get realism, but you also get expressive looks. Because oh my goodness, thank you for mentioning dinosaur.
In which they
That's a
basically
classic.
place human faces on these dinosaur bodies, save for the Carnotauruses.
Right.
Now, for me, this isn't too bad. Like, it's not really an issue for me, but I completely understand why people think this is creepy.
What do
So
you
if you
mean? It
were to apply that
works.
same methodology to Land Before Time, something like that could probably work. You could probably have these beloved
You could pull it
characters
off.
emote the same way that they did in the original, and you might be able to get some of those emotions off because, of course, they are dinosaurs. A lot of the industry takes a lot of creative liberty with that anyway, and so something like that is not too far-fetched. So great. Maybe the dinosaur models could work. Maybe. That's a big maybe. But let's talk about the overall scenery, because this is another thing that a lot of people take away from the first movie. The scenery is incredible. They were obviously going for something that is a lot darker, a lot
Yes.
creepier. Essentially, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird that this belongs in a kids movie, but the atmosphere is incredible. Everything just has an air of danger to it. But that's something that I feel would probably kind of get toned down into live action, or live action like. And that's mainly because it's extremely stylized for animation and things are able to be emphasized for animation. Just look no further than the Sharptooth versus Littlefoot's mother scene. It's incredible. There's rocks being lifted in the air as the earth splits apart. It's intense, it's exhilarating, and it's something that's really hard to pull off in a live action like thing, at least convincingly, to the same dramatic effect. I'm not saying it can't be done, but very often is it not done. Another comparison to Lion King, look no further than the beep paired scene Scar's saw in the original
Oh,
Lion King, where the colors are so vibrant and the rocks are literally lifting up into the sky with Scar on top of it to represent the
His-
power he's about to take.
yep.
And in the 2019 remake, he has a glorified speech where he climbs some rocks. So that's like essentially the problem is a lot of times things are kind of toned down with live action because it's harder to kind of suspend your disbelief when you're looking at something that is supposed to be live action. Again, I'm not saying this can't be done. We have several disaster movies where this is pulled off convincingly, but there's a good chance that it'll lose a lot of its effect once it's translated to that different animation style. But here's the good question when it comes to all of this. Do we even need a Land Before Time remake?
No,
I don't
but
think so.
they picked
The original
to.
already exists, and honestly, this whole trend of going back to what worked in the past and remaking that is getting really tired to me. I'm someone who likes to dive into brand new stories and likes to open up my worldview when it comes to something like that. And because the biggest company in the entertainment industry is just remaking all of their classics simply because they know that works, it's getting really old to me. And I really don't want another studio to follow in that path and start remaking old classics simply because they knew that that worked. But then again, there is a small part of me that just absolutely loves dinosaur media, and I love seeing live action type dinosaurs on the big screen. So I am kind of torn, but I'm leaning more towards the fact that I don't think this is really something that's needed. Because again, the original exists. The original is a classic. The original is great. It's heartfelt. It's emotional. Everybody loves it. I don't necessarily think we need that story retold. Maybe another story with dinosaurs that is along the same vein. Of course, Disney's Dinosaur already tried that, but it didn't work out too well, so who truly knows? But let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you want a live action remake of The Land Before Time? If you do, why? Tell us your reasons. If you don't, also tell us your reasons. I have no idea why I stalled there, but I did.
Mhm.
But like, comment, and subscribe. And, have an awesome day.
All right, let's see. Um, I can see the the point on the original already exists. The first thing some would say to shoot it down is like, and I literally said it earlier, like that's the same thing with the Disney remakes. The original already exists, but they choose to do it anyway. And secondly, um, what is shoot, well, darn, there is a dinosaur movie that I'm thinking of, and I can't remember the name of it. If you've seen it before, main character is a Pachyrhinosaur, I believe, and his name is Patchy. And it basically almost does the a similar vein of a story to Land Before Time. Loses his parents, but unlike unlike Land Before Time, this one does the time skip where Patchy grows up and all that. So the only reason I would say a remake I would say yes is one to see how it would look like because me personally I really like dinosaur and I think if it was done in a dinosaur ish like in a dinosaurish way I think it could work. Um, I would say one thing you could do it but you could but I wouldn't do it is doing it in that the other movie. I think it's Walking with the Dinosaurs or oh, I can't remember. Or Dino King, the a Dino King movie with darn darn, I can't remember anything where they would take these dinosaurs and their emotions or thoughts would be narrated like they act like what we think dinosaurs would act like and voice actors narrate how they feel. though. There's that, but I don't think it would work. Like it could work, but it wouldn't be the same. So the reason I would say yes is because I would say if you had a second chance to redo Land Before Time, you can like one, of course, me being a little bit biased, you can still do the Great Long Neck Migration, addressing Littlefoot's dad, but you could finally do what Land Before Time is unwilling to do, and that is finally either do a time skip or let the characters grow up. I'm sorry, but each one of the sequels, they all remain kids. Can we get something where they grow up a little bit or grow up to adulthood, please? I'm sorry, but we've got like there are like how many movies? Like I have the full collection. I have the full collection in one of these drawers in my room, and I think it's like 14 movies, and it has a TV series. I'm like, I understand pushing something out as long as possible when it works. Paw Patrol, Bubble Guppies, SpongeBob, SquarePants, some perfect examples. Well, it's like you don't have to you don't have to age up the characters and do that works. But me personally, as someone who loves the original, well, can we get a movie where can we either get a reboot or a movie where they finally grow up a little bit or to adulthood, please? I'm like, because for example, the narration in the first movie, when the narrator at the end says that the tale of Littlefoot and his friends journeying to the valley became um basically a legend where it was passed on to young dinosaurs for generations. Can we please get that? Can we see an extent of that, please? So that's just me. That's just me. But for me, I can go either way. If you say yes, I'm in, and I can think of reasons why. If you say no, oh, I can agree with that for the reasons he stated. Like it doesn't need to be done, but it can be done anyway. Eh, yeah. So uh, so seeing the question, I'm like, could a remake work? Yes, yes, but many people would be iffy about it. Many would shoot it down. Um, there are many ways it could go wrong, but there are other ways it can go right. So the only way to know is really like to stick your foot in the ring, like to try it out, see what happens. And then as someone who enjoys the Disney remakes, I see completely what he's saying with the animal characters, that in the animation you don't have to conform yourself to how these animals actually look. Pumbaa and Sebastian are perfect examples where, oh my goodness, when people complained about especially how Pumbaa looked in the live action remake, and all I said was, is that how a warthog actually looks? If it is, then fine, you're doing your job. Because if you're trying to make it as realistic as possible and Pumbaa's cartoon version is not what a warthog looks like, then don't lie to me saying this is a live action remake, and that's not how they actually look. And then with Sebastian, I was expect like I was expecting Flounder, okay, at least Sebastian to look different. Flounder, it took me a while to realize that okay, one, I can understand that fish don't really look like that, but even the fact that the kind of fish Flounder isn't a flounder, or it's a different kind of fish. um I think, if I remember it correctly. But anyway, but I think it again, like using the dinosaur route. One, what are you talking about? It's unsettling. I can watch that movie. I watch that movie one here and there, and it still holds up to me. It looks great, and it basically does a lot of what usually dinosaur media and Land Before Time does. All the main characters we want to care about are they're able to talk, they're able to express their emotions, while the carnivores just roar and intimidate and look scary, which is which is kind of unfair for the carnivores. uh, anyway, thank you, Legend, so much for watching this video. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think a live action remake of or a reboot or like something like that of Land Before Time should be made or not? Please let me know down in the comments. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please react to my madness. I will see you in the next one. And thank you so much for 183 subscribers as of the recording of this video. See you later.